Welcome to Vital Life Stories, where we explore the profound journeys of ordinary people, discovering extraordinary truths about life and wealth. In a quiet village lived an old man who spent his days sleeping under the shade of a giant banyan tree. His mind was always filled with vivid dreams of gold coins, bustling shops, and a life of luxury he never possessed. The villagers would walk past him, shaking their heads in disapproval, seeing only a lazy dreamer wasting his precious time away. He would tell anyone who listened that he planned to buy a herd of cattle and become the richest man alive. Yet, as the sun moved across the sky and shadows lengthened, he never lifted a finger to make those dreams real. His home was falling apart, a dusty reflection of his inaction, while he continued to live entirely inside his own head. He lived with his young grandson, a quiet boy who often played alone with broken toys in the dirt outside. One evening, the reality of their poverty struck hard when the little boy pulled his shirt and pointed to his mouth. The old man opened their wooden cupboard only to find it completely bare, without a single grain of rice left inside. A cold wave of shame washed over him as he realized that his grand dreams could not feed a hungry child. That night, the dreamer finally woke up, understanding that he must abandon his fantasies to survive the harsh reality of life. The very next morning, he went to the market and took the hardest job available, carrying heavy sacks of grain continuously. His back ached and his hands were blistered, but he refused to stop, driven by the memory of the empty cupboard. At the end of the day, he stared at the few copper coins in his palm, the first real money earned. He bought a small bag of rice and saw a smile return to his grandson's face, fueling his resolve to work. A merchant saw his hard work and advised him that the only path to safety was to save every single penny. Taking this advice to heart, the old man decided he would become a miser, guarding his earnings like a fierce dragon. He found a large glass jar and hid it deep under his bed, dropping his hard-earned coins inside every single night. He began to starve himself, eating only plain rice and refusing to buy vegetables just to save a few extra coins. Instead of buying new clothes, he patched his rags repeatedly, believing that every coin not spent was a coin truly earned. Months passed by slowly, and the jar under the bed began to fill up, shimmering with the promise of future security. He would pull out the heavy jar at night, smiling at his treasure, feeling safe because he had accumulated so much. His goal was to buy a large sack of corn seeds to plant, ensuring they would never go hungry again. When the jar was finally full, he walked confidently to the market, ready to make his purchase and secure their future. But at the shop, the merchant shook his head, explaining that the price of corn had doubled since the previous year. The old man watched in horror as his full jar of money could now only purchase half of what he needed. He sat on the dusty curb, realizing that while his money sat idle in the jar, the world had become expensive. He understood a painful truth. Money that is merely saved and hidden away loses its value as time marches relentlessly forward. Walking home with his meager purchase, he knew he had to change his strategy if he wanted to escape poverty forever. He saw his neighbor's chickens scratching in the dirt and realized that living things grow and multiply, unlike dead metal coins. With the very last of his savings, he decided to take a risk and purchase 2 young, healthy hens from the market. He built a small coop and cared for them diligently, feeding them scraps and ensuring they were safe from wild predators. Soon enough, his patience was rewarded when he found the first fresh brown egg resting warmly in the straw one morning. Instead of hiding the money from selling eggs, he used it immediately to buy better feed and eventually another laying hen. The small flock grew rapidly, and his grandson helped gather eggs, learning the value of work and the power of growth. Soon, they were not just selling a few eggs, but supplying the local market with baskets full of fresh produce daily. With the profits from the chickens, he did not stop. He purchased a goat, expanding his small farm into something bigger. Their dilapidated home was repaired, the roof was fixed, and the little boy wore clean new clothes and attended school. The grandfather was no longer a dreamer or a miser. He was an investor who made his money work for him. He sat his grandson down and explained that money is like a seed. If you lock it away, it never grows. He told the boy that saving is like holding water in your hand. Eventually, it slips away or dries up completely. But investing is like watering a plant. You give it resources, and in return, it bears fruit for years to come. The villagers who once mocked him now came to him for advice, respecting the man who built wealth from almost nothing. He had finally achieved the stability he once only dreamed of, not by magic, but by understanding how money truly moves. He no longer needed a jar under his bed because his wealth was visible in his livestock and his thriving farm. His grandson grew up with this wisdom, ensuring that the cycle of poverty was broken for their family for generations. The journey from a lazy dreamer to a wise investor transformed not just one man's life, but his entire family's destiny. We learn that dreaming without action brings hunger, and saving without purpose leads to loss as the world changes around us. True financial freedom comes when we take the risk to plant our resources and nurture them until they yield a harvest. So do not just hold on to what you have. Let it circulate, grow, and build a future that lasts forever. Thank you for watching Vital Life Stories. Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales of growth, wisdom, and life transformation.